On today's show, can Amir Coffey be part of a championship contending team's rotation? And an Olympic check-in with Ty Lue and Nico Batum on today's Locked On Off-Season Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA and entering my 20th season as a Clipper fan this fall. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where I want you to let me know what you think. Can Amir Coffey be a part of a championship team's rotation? We're going to be talking about all things Amir Coffey in this episode. Also going to be checking in with Nico Batum and Ty Lue in the USA and France's most recent games, and some updates on the new look into a dome, because can we get enough of them? I don't think so. I can't, at least. And before we get started, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals on tickets last minute. All you got to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Clipper Nation. Hope you had a good weekend. Apologies for not as many episodes next week. A reminder that we have shifted to August, so there's only going to be 3 episodes a week. It's like the official off-season. No summer league, no free agency like that. So 3 episodes a week. I will try to be consistent with that. It shouldn't be too hard. Maybe even give you guys bonus, but we'll see if I have the time. I have not had time to do anything recently. But I do have to say, your host, meaning myself, is still the youngest Locked On NBA host. But I have just gone a year older. I have celebrated my birthday this weekend, 26 years old. So again, I don't hide my age from anybody. You know what I'm saying? I have no reason to. I'm big on the history of the game, but I do put on a lot of work and I cite my work. But I don't speak, I don't lie about my age. I don't lie about what I have not seen. I'm 26 years old. I started watching the LA Clippers in basketball and playing basketball when I was in 2nd grade, 7 years old going on 8. That's the year 2006, 05-06 Clippers. The rest is history. So, yeah, appreciate everybody, man. Year 26 for me. Let's get it. 20th year being a Clipper fan coming up. And let's talk about Amir Coffey, who's about to be in his 6th year of being a Clipper. Now, Amir Coffey is an undrafted player out of Minnesota, right? Undrafted player out of Minnesota that we got in 2020. Now, I'm sorry, 2019, for the 2019-20 season. In that 2019-20 season, he only played 18 games, and he started in 1 game. Now, that game that he started was in the bubble against OKC, the game in which Terrence Mann was 1 assist away from a triple-double, and Amir Coffey, who had only scored in double figures 1 time that season, which was a 10-point game against the Cavs in Cleveland on February 9th, 2020, scored 21 points, which was his career high at the time, on August 14th, 2020, in the bubble in our last regular season game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? I didn't think too much of that season for Amir Coffey, but I thought, hey, Terrence Mann and Amir Coffey showing why maybe they should get some minutes next year. 2021, Amir Coffey appeared in 44 out of 72 games. He started the exact same amount of games as the previous season, just 1. He averaged the same amount of points to the decimal as his rookie season, 3.2. So you, again, didn't really see him in the rotation much, and it wasn't really worth talking about him. But I will say one game that absolutely stands out in my mind was the one against the Atlanta Hawks. Actually, no, he didn't really play that much in that one. That was mostly Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard. So I was just imagining things. So in the 2021 regular season, His season high was 15, and that was against the Miami Heat on February 15th, 2021. So again, another season where I was like, Amir, he could be good. I don't have much of an opinion of him. And then 2022, and I'm giving you this background just because I feel like it's all relevant, just given you can't just take one season. If we're talking about a situation and a conversation like this, where Amir Coffey is going to be 27 years old next season, which is basically your prime, right? Is he good enough to be in the rotation, or should we look for a Jordan Miller maybe, or a Kobe Brown? I've already said in the previous podcast in the last couple of weeks after the Summer League, that spot for the backup wing position on the team, because right now it's looking like Harden, Terrence, Derek Jones Jr., Kawhi, and Zoo starting, which I think is a very good defensive lineup. You still have the problem, if for some people, that Kawhi Leonard is playing the 4. But it's a very good defensive lineup. It's obviously going to be very reliant on James Harden and Kawhi creating the shots. Zubats hopefully will be used as more of a hub in the low post, but that's how it's going to be. Now, off the bench, you've got the backup point guard conversation between Chris Dunn and, KPJ and Bones. I'll have a separate episode on that probably this week. But let's just go with Chris Dunn, right? Chris Dunn, Norm, Nico, and then Mo Bamba. Then you have one more guy. I'd say it's probably Amir Coffey right now, unless Jordan Miller or Kobe Brown have anything to say about that. PJ Tucker, that shouldn't even be in the discussion. I know it's been super hard to move his contract. He has not been an easy one to deal with from everything that's been said and reported since he's arrived. Now, back to Amir, the Brewmaster. 2022. This is when I feel like it was probably mentioned before, probably in 2021 season by Brian, the Brewmaster, because he did play in 44 games out of 72, which is more than half. But 2022 was when we started to say, yo, he's pretty good. He played in 69 out of 82 games, and he started in 30. And mind you, he is one of the biggest reasons, or bigger reasons. I don't know about biggest. I would say Reggie, Marcus, Terrence, Zoo, Isaiah Hartenstein. But right after them is him. Luke Kennard as well. He's right there in that 2022 season. 30 games starting, right? So almost half the season he started. Played a career high to this day, 23 minutes a game. Shot a career high 7 shots a game. Shot 45% from the field. 38% from 3. 86 from the line. So let's look at those shooting splits right there. Because now he's actually getting real minutes. And he's doing it on a 42-win team. That's one of the reasons we made the play-in. If it was by the old NBA standings rules and playoff rules, we would have made it as an 8 seed. And Amir Coffey would have been a huge reason why. He started to show that ability that he could get to the basket, especially off the catch. Not really self-creation, but he also started showing some playmaking chops that season as well. He averaged 2 assists a game, which was it's still a career high to this day, 1.8 to be exact. 2.9 rebounds a game, which is still his career high. And, of course, 9 points a game. So 9, 3, and 2 on 45, 38, 86 shooting splits. That was pretty good. And you're always going to get solid defense from Amir. He's 6'7". So he's a wing, rangy wing. He's a good athlete, fantastic in transition. And this is when you started to see, he and Terrence Mann, very good going downhill, very good attacking closeouts, good guys to put off ball around stars, and can guard. And so that's what you started to see. And he can knock down the 3 ball. So if you're a 3-and-D guy in this league, you're going to get paid, you're going to get playing time. No doubt about it. So I loved what I saw from Amir that year. And here's the thing, though, that concerns me, right? He hasn't had a game over 18 points since that season. He has not had a game over 18 points since then. He had a 35-point game that season against OKC in April. He had that game where he and Robert Covington went berserk, 153-19, 153-119 in Milwaukee. He scored 32 points, got 6 rebounds and 7 assists. Mind you, on his 35-point career high game, he also had 13 rebounds and 5 assists. So the assists, that was really a thing. Amir Coffey showing some pick and roll chops even that season. And he had a bunch, 8 20-plus point games that season. I'm sorry, 7, because I was counting the OKC game in the bubble. So 7 20-plus point games that season. I mean, and he hasn't really reached those heights since. Now, of course, that season was when Kawhi was out, so he got a chance to play more. In 2023, he played in 50 out of the 82 games. He started 9, but he was mostly a guy for when Paul George or Kawhi were out, and that was very frequently, and he didn't really get the chance to make a consistent mark. He wasn't really a consistent part of the rotation. He averaged 12 and a half minutes a game, averaged 3 points on 39, and he did not shoot well because he was so out of rhythm when he played. 39% from the field and 27.5% from 3. So his shooting splits fell off a cliff, and I remember people saying he's been so disappointing this year, and I would play devil's advocate for him. I was like, he's not getting consistent burn. You know what I'm saying? He was playing a lot in the beginning of the season because one of Paul George or Kawhi were always out, but he was not really playing towards the end of the season. You know, he had a lot of DNPs, a lot. So you're not a consistent part of rotation in that regard. And I don't think you could hold it against him, really. And by the way, in that 2022 season, people were starting to say, is Amir Coffey better than Terrence? And those discussions resumed again this year when Terrence was having a shooting slump. And the injury, actually, to Paul George, just missing 2 games, I believe it was at one time early in the season, got Amir Coffey into the rotation. And, of course, the trade for Harden, getting rid of Rocco, getting rid of Nico and KJ Martin, that really freed up Amir Coffey to play. And I think it really started with that game against Golden State where he had 18 points. I think that was the game on December 14th that got him into the rotation. I was at that game, and yeah, Paul George was out. And I remember everybody, all the fans were saying after the game, that game could make him a permanent fixture in the rotation. And he ended up being that. Started 13 games, but he played a career-high 70 games. He averaged 6.6 points a game, so 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. So 7, 2, and 1 off the bench, which is fine. Shooting splits, 47% from the field, 38 from 3, 86 from the line. So very good shooting splits, solid defense. In the playoffs, though, 19 minutes, and he was awful in my opinion, mainly offensively. He looked like he just didn't have the same rhythm, same confidence. I don't know if that's because we weren't playing fast enough or what it was, but averaging 3 points on 32% from the field and 27 from 3, I mean, it makes me really question things. But overall, I think you give him one more year, but I don't think you guarantee a spot. I think you got to see if Jordan Miller and Kobe Brown look better in training camp, and if so, let them play. Amir should not have a guaranteed spot, but in the context of the question, can he be a rotation player on a championship contending team? I don't think I'm ready to say no yet. I'm not ready to say no yet because those shooting splits are still pretty good, and defensively he still gives you more than some other guys in the league coming off the bench. So I guarantee you the Denver Nuggets would love to have someone like Amir Coffey right now, or the Lakers. But anyway, coming up, let's check in with Ty Lue and Nico Batum. How are they looking heading into the knockout stages of the Olympics? I got to tell you a little something about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NBA podcast. There is no offseason in the NBA, and Locked On NBA provides daily basketball analysis from national and local experts in 30 minutes or less. No one keeps you as informed and entertained as Locked On NBA. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right. So let's check in with the fellas over in Paris, starting with Ty Lue and Team USA, who just won their third game of the Olympics. Obviously, the games that count. This one against Puerto Rico, and it was funny because it was not a good start for Team USA. I mean, Puerto Rico came out and was just raining threes raining threes. But as most Team USA games go for both the men and women, they just end up showing their quality in the end and showing the talent disparity. The second quarter was a complete beatdown, 39-16. And I thought that Team USA was moving the ball very well. I thought it was a lot better in terms of moving the ball fast from LeBron James, who was setting the table a lot for Team USA. And there was definitely more of an effort to give Steph the ball because he was bricking throughout the throughout the first two games and hasn't really been touching the ball much. So that's something you see from any coaching staff. They're aware that, look, maybe we're not getting Steph the ball in rhythm enough. Maybe he's got to touch the ball more. And he still didn't shoot particularly great. 8 points on 3 for 8 shooting and 2 for 6 from 3. But it felt like a more concerted effort. And I thought the KD-Steph Curry tandem of moving off the ball, quick passing and pitching and relocating, it was very special to watch. But yeah, so far so good for Team USA. In terms of any controversial coaching decisions, I wouldn't say there were any. There were 11 players in this game. Drew Holiday was actually injured, so made the job easier for the coaches to not have to sit anyone or, one less player to give minutes to. But 104-83, the USA won. They're advancing and will play against Brazil on Tuesday. Brazil on Tuesday. So South Sudan, they did not qualify for the next round. Puerto Rico did not qualify for the next round. And in my opinion, a team that was very solid and didn't qualify because of tiebreakers, Spain. They did not make it to the next round, and they were showing some signs of life. Just had that unfortunate loss to Australia to begin the tournament, but they were pretty good. So Germany versus Greece. You got Daniel Tice, former Clipper, unfortunately, now with the New Orleans Pelicans, who, by the way, yes, I still believe he should have gotten more minutes in that Dallas series. But, by the way, as far as the Amir Coffey thing, I just want to say one more thing. That was his first postseason. That was his first time being part of a rotation consistently. So we should cut him some slack. I was pretty critical of him in that segment. We should cut him some slack. But anyway. Serbia, Australia, no Clippers involved in that, but that's going to be a fun matchup as well. And then, of course, France, Canada, you got SGA and then Nico. So let's talk about Nico, right? France played against Germany, and they got absolutely walloped. It was tough to watch. And in my opinion, the main reason was because France really just doesn't have good guard play. Their best guard is Evan Fournier, and he's not really a great shot creator. Wemby was getting just pushed out of the paint, and Germany was just being really physical. They were being very physical on ball. They were being physical off ball, forcing the French players to catch the ball further from the basket. And when Wemby would catch the ball, Daniel Tice and Mo Wagner, they were right up in his grill. But the good news is that, in my opinion, Nico Batum, he didn't really do much wrong. I mean, he got blown by a little bit by Franz Wagner, including on a filthy poster. That was actually nuts. Franz Wagner did a little crossover. I think it was right to left on Nico. Not like he totally got him bad, but he got by him. He threw it down over multiple French players, and he was doing some crazy stuff in that game, Franz Wagner. But Nico, I thought, was solid. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, just 1 turnover. He also got a block, and he shot 50% from the field, 3 for 6, and 2 for 3 from deep. Fact of the matter is, Nico Batum was their leading assist guy and didn't actually touch the ball that much. And he played the most minutes again for this team with 30. So not a good loss. But again, Nico Batum is not a guy that's going to create shots for you. That's not what he's going to be asked to do with the Clippers either. But the fact that he is getting the most minutes on the French national team with Gobert and Wemby, who are undoubtedly better players, but they're flawed in their own ways right now. And we haven't gone to the point of Victor Wembanyama's legacy where people start criticizing him. He's just Teflon to that right now, and he just can do no wrong. He's an alien. But I mean, he has no lower body strength compared to some of these NBA guys. He's getting pushed out of the paint. He's the big lanky guy in the perimeter that does some amazing things sometimes offensively. But to me right now, the beauty in Wemby is his defense. And I've always said before he came in the league, I said defensively that guy's going to be a menace from day one. But offensively, will he be a good enough scorer because he's just, to me, like a KD disciple who's not as skilled as KD with the handle, not nearly as good of a shooter, and he's a lot bigger, which can be to your disadvantage when you're playing face-up game so much. And I like that he was trying to post up in this game, but he just gets pushed. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he really has any go-to moves in the post. I liked his approach, but they were getting physical with him. He's got to, and he knows he has to get more muscle, put on more muscle, and that's going to come. But I liked his intentions, but he's very perimeter-oriented, and it's not going to be easy to have that as a number one option to win anything, against NBA or Olympic competition. I hope they can medal, though, and then don't get me started with Gobert's offense. Nico, he's going to be so great this season. I just hope he can stay healthy because the guy is still so solid. That's what I'm just telling you. Moral of the story, Ty Lue's doing his thing. They're undefeated, but Nico's been awesome, in my opinion. So that's something to look forward to. But you know what else is something to look forward to? Something to look forward to? The Intuit Dome. Going to be talking about more things that I've seen recently that just should make you super excited to go visit. I got to tell you a little something about game time. MLB games, I keep saying this and I'm starting to get tired of me saying it. I have not made my way over to Dodger Stadium this year. I got to go see Shohei, and I'm going to use Game Time when I do it because Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB, which makes getting tickets faster and easier, and prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. And save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. So before we talk about the Intuit Dome, let me just preview real quick Ty Lue and Nicolas Batum's games. So USA Brazil, I've watched Brazil. I didn't watch their game against Japan that they won, but I watched their game against France. And I have to say, they are okay. They're not the team that they were with Leandro Barbosa and Anderson Varejao and Nene. They're just not that anymore. The game is on Tuesday, August 6th at 12:30 Los Angeles time. The line is minus 26.5 for us. I think we win no problems between 20 to 30. Maybe even beat them, get our first 30 piece, just given it's a knockout game. We want to make a statement. So that's my prediction. I don't think it'll be any problem for us. And this is a quarterfinal game, by the way. And then France, they have a much tougher task. And that's the same day, Tuesday at 9 a.m. local time. Going to be must-see television. France and Canada, of course. So many French speakers in Canada, French regions in Canada. And it's going to be just interesting to watch those two teams play each other. I think this will be a great test because France has that rim protection, that size that Canada just doesn't have. They're weak in the front court. But the guard play with Andrew Nembhard and Jamal Murray and SGA, that's a lot of scoring that the French just don't seem to have. And their guard defense is fantastic. So we'll see how that goes. My prediction is Canada wins by about 6 to 10 points. It's going to be a styles make fights kind of game. A front court dominated team with a team with their bigs being their strength versus a team that their guards are their strength. So I'm going with Canada. Now let's talk about the Intuit Dome. I mean, so many people have just been going for more tours, and I can't wait to just walk on that bridge for starters. By the way, though, fair warning, I saw that somebody got charged they're charging $68 in one of the parking structures for the Bruno Mars concert, which is the first event slated to happen at the Intuit Dome in about a week and change. That's sus. I had to pay $100 for parking at SoFi for Copa America, literally in July or late June. It was late June. I hope it's not ridiculous. I never had to pay over. I think on the most expensive days at Staples Center, I had to pay $40 for parking. Never more than that. I mean, $68 is ridiculous. So I hope it's not ridiculous when the season starts. I'm excited to walk on the bridge that takes you to the plaza. And I'm just excited to see, one, what kind of bars and restaurants they build right in that area. Because there's nothing on Avalon like that right now. At least not that I haven't checked in a while. But I was there like 2 to 3 months ago, as I said. And actually, I don't think I said that in this episode. I've done another show today. So just me getting mixed up. But I was there in early June. And I did an episode on it right away. But there was nothing there on Avalon. Right? So I'm excited to see what that becomes. Where's the post-game spot going to be? And also, the court. And I've seen people taking shots on the court, the community court. I got to go take some shots on the community court, man. And I'm really excited to see the big screen and what kind of events they show on it and what kind of events draw people. Like, are people from the neighborhood just going to come watch? Are Laker fans going to come watch Dodger games on there? Is it going to be that, or is it going to be solely for Clipper fans? I don't know. I'm seeing people see the high school jerseys on the walls. I'm just excited to see the finished product and see all the seats in there on the 11th. And try the food. I don't think they're going to let us try the food. But, man, it's just, we're getting so close. And the pictures that everyone's taking, they look so close to the court. It's amazing. It's a dream come true, and I can't wait for it. But let me know what you think about the Amir Coffey thing. And also, if you're watching the Olympics, Ty Lue and Nico Batum. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content, and more content on the Olympics. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time I post a video. And, of course, if you can't listen on video, make sure you are listening on audio wherever you get your podcasts. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.